Listeners like you support Denison Forum's mission to deliver news discerned differently. As a ministry nonprofit, we are fully donor supported. To partner with us, please donate today using the donate link in our show notes. Every day, cultural confusion grows louder and believers are left asking, how should I respond? That's where Denison Forum steps in, equipping Christians like you with biblical clarity to navigate today's challenges. But keeping these resources free takes a community. When you give your first monthly gift as a Forum Frontline partner, you help deliver real-time biblical insight to believers searching for answers, all while standing firm in your own faith. Visit supportdf.org to give your first monthly gift today. That's support, the letter D, the letter F.org, or just click the link in the show notes. Don't just listen, take action. Give your first monthly gift today. Today is Friday, March the 28th, 2025, and this is Denison Forum's Daily Article Podcast. I'm Chris Elkins, narrator. Today's daily article is written by our senior editor for theology, Dr. Ryan Denison. Earlier this week, The Atlantic's Jeffrey Goldberg released the full text chain of the group chat he was mistakenly included in by National Security Advisor Michael Waltz. The only redacted portion was the name of an undercover CIA intelligence officer. The move was likely the result of the numerous personal attacks levied at Goldberg throughout the week, as well as the ways in which the Trump administration has attempted to downplay the breach in security. Connor and Micah went into much greater detail on this story and the lessons we should take from it in this week's episode of Culture Brief, while Dr. Jim Denison discussed what occurred in Wednesday's daily article. Links to both are in today's podcast episode notes. As such, I'm not going to rehash those details today. Instead, I'd like to focus on a part of the story that could prove far more instructive for understanding how President Trump and his administration will proceed going forward. You see, one of the more revealing aspects of the Signal chat was how Vice President JD Vance pushed against the attack, calling the idea, quote, a mistake, and questioning whether Trump was fully aware of how inconsistent this is with his message on Europe right now. Many have taken those words as a sign of a potential rift between the two leaders. But are they right to do so? Do Vance's comments in what was intended to be a private setting portend trouble for the administration? Or could they be a sign of something else? Part of what made Vance's comments stand out is that they marked the first sign since before the election that he was anything but in lockstep with the president. From that point forward, they've seldom appeared to disagree, and the vice president's private comments have caused some to wonder if there is more conflict behind the scenes than appears in public. And were that the case, it would be a net positive for the administration. After all, one of the primary allegations levied against Trump's second presidency is that he's surrounded himself with a bunch of yes men who never question or oppose his ideas. Such counsel would be no more beneficial for him than it would be for any other leader. However, if those closest to him are free to disagree without that contention becoming public knowledge, then it would be a sign of a healthier situation. William Martin, Vance's communication director, has since said of their conflicting views on the attack against the Houthis that the vice president and Trump are now in complete agreement. That's fine if true, but it's ultimately unnecessary. Vance doesn't have to agree with Trump to still work to see the president's directives and decisions are accomplished. If you've ever had a boss, then chances are you've experienced something similar. You don't have to, and likely won't, agree with everything that your boss does, regardless of how good they are at their job. It can even be beneficial to share those conflicting views in private. But once the boss makes the decision, then assuming that decision is neither illegal nor sinful, the job of those under them is to see it done. Of course, keeping that balance can be tricky, but that's a reality that all of us face. And that's especially true when it comes to our relationship with God. One of the best parts about the Christian faith is that we serve a God who welcomes our disagreements and questions. As he told the people in Isaiah 1, verse 18 through the prophet, we are invited to reason, literally argue with him. And those are not empty words. Rather, we see them lived out in the stories of Moses, the Psalms of David, and the Lamentations of Job. And Jesus spent most of his ministry talking with people and teaching in ways that fostered discussion. At the same time, however, God is equally clear that he still gets the final say. When he makes his will known, our job is to obey regardless of whether we agree or understand all that he's asking us to do. It's after a decision is made that we're often inclined to mess things up, though. And this side of heaven, that's always likely to be the case. God shows us great respect by encouraging conversation and giving us the free will to decide how we will respond to his commands. He also gave us the ultimate compliment when he decided to create us in his own image, as stated in Genesis 1, verse 27. Perhaps it should not come as a surprise that our greatest temptation is often to act as though we're his equals in these endeavors. So, how well are you resisting that temptation today? Think back on the last time God asked you to do something you either didn't understand or didn't agree with. How did you respond? Did you eventually choose to follow his will or your own? We learn a great deal about ourselves and about our relationship with God when obeying him gets difficult. Yes, we're free to disagree, ask questions, and even vent a bit when a chasm exists between what he wants us to do and what we'd prefer to do instead. But unless we're willing to eventually set all of our disagreements aside and see his will accomplished, then we're really not living as if he's the boss, and our claims of faith start to ring a bit hollow as a result. So, the next time you find yourself in a disagreement with God, speak your mind and grant him the conversation that his word says he wants. But remember, a time will come when you still have to be willing to set that conflict aside and do what he's called you to do. Such obedience is one of the greatest gifts we offer to God, who has already given us infinitely more, according to 1 Samuel 15, verse 22. What gift will you offer him today?